We're following the growing pains that come with growth in the inland Northwest. Sometimes the beauty of our region brings in some shady business. Last month, we told you about a settlement between the Idaho Attorney General and Alex Welstad. He'd been operating for years out of COEUR D'ALENE under the names NAA Partners LLC and Mammoth Pole Buildings.
The AG accused Welstad of owing victims nearly $800,000 for failing to do or complete contract work. Now that's based off of 17 complaints. In tonight's 4 News Now investigation, we spoke with more of Welstad's former customers, and we look into why Welstad still isn't facing any charges. If you think buying property is next to impossible, try building one.
This has been by far the worst construction experience I've been a part of.
Rick Pankert believes Alex Welstad owes him $55,000 for delaying what he says was a lifelong dream for his family.
He finally got the poles in the ground in September and wanted money, but yet he would tell us that the sheet metal was ordered, the wood package were ordered, and none of that was true.
His shop is looking pretty good these days, but the rest of that handiwork is thanks to the Pankert family coming together with another subcontractor. And no thanks to Welstad.
Once he got our original 30% down, he was very hard to get a hold of.
Though delayed, the Pankerts are grateful to have had an actual roof over their heads through it all.
This was a home for our horses and for our other things that we wanted to do. It makes me feel really bad when I hear all the stories.
Welstad's grifting and ghosting has spanned multiple states, a pattern mentioned in the Idaho AG's May judgment. Though Mammoth's website is no longer online, thanks to public records, these photos show he claims his company was bonded in Idaho, Washington, and Montana. Through interviews and public records, 4 News Now has identified more than 17 people claiming to be victimized by Welstad. Some of his past clients include veterans, the disabled, women, families, retirees, and even former law enforcement. Like the Pankerts, the Bartleys entered into an agreement with Welstad last year. But unlike the Pankerts, the Bartleys weren't as lucky when it came to housing.
Trailers aren't really built to withstand North Idaho weather, especially up here in the snow belt.
Welstad's unfinished work left Jennifer Bartley, her husband, and 2 growing teenage sons cramped together in their fifth-wheeler all winter.
Like I said, it was supposed to be a temporary situation, and it's just, I don't know what we're going to do now.
The St. Mary's mother calls what little work Welstad left behind a monstrosity. Her insurance company detailed a 36-page report of shoddy workmanship. Bartley says her insurance claim was eventually denied.
Our concrete footings, basically from the ground up, it's just not done properly, and it's not safe. It's not secure.
She says Welstad owes her nearly $35,000.
I'd love to have my building fixed. I'd love to have my money returned. I would love to see Alex be served justice.
So why isn't Welstad facing any charges? At one point, Welstad seemed to think so. This is where his office used to be in COEUR D'ALENE.
No, you don't understand. This is not okay with us.
We're working class stiffs. That's our retirement.
That's half of what it's costing us to put in that building.
And I'm looking at jail time if I don't get you guys a check.
Exactly.
Natalie Burnett says that's her confronting Welstad about getting her money back. The realtor from Lakeside, Washington says her retirement property in North Idaho is now in limbo because she hired Welstad to work on it.
And unfortunately, the laws, even in Washington and Idaho, favor the contractor.
Burnett learned she wasn't alone when she posted her experience on a Facebook page and even filed a report with the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office. While the AG says Welstad violated the State Consumer Protection Act and Idaho Rules of Consumer Protection in the KCSO report, the Kootenai County prosecutor declined to prosecute, describing Welstad as a poor businessman and writing Welstad's conduct did not rise to a violation of Idaho law. We reached out to Kootenai County prosecutor Barry McHugh, who declined to go on camera. But within the last week, we've learned KCSO is continuing its investigation into Welstad. Meanwhile, when this settlement was announced in May, this is what Deputy Attorney General Brett DeLange told us about Welstad's future in the Gem State.
He's banned from advertising or providing construction services in the state of Idaho.
If Welstad violates the AG settlement, Welstad faces $55,000 in civil penalties and $2,000 in attorney's fees. But what about all his victims? Will they ever get their money back? Though the AG's settlement says Welstad has to pay restitution to affected customers, Welstad told the AG's office he plans to file for bankruptcy. Based on the judgment, we know the AG is still accepting complaints until June 23rd.
I'm hoping enough people file their claims so the Kootenai County prosecutor, our attorney general, will file criminal charges against Alex.
We know Welstad denied the allegations in the AG's settlement, only agreeing to it in order to economically resolve it. I have texted, called, and emailed Welstad, and as of this newscast, he has not responded. For the Attorney General's tips on dealing with contractors in Idaho and how to do background checks on contractors in Washington, as well as file complaints in both states, just look for this story on KXLY.com.